Have you heard of Cape Verde? It's this stunning archipelago off the coast of West Africa, famous for its incredible music, vibrant culture, and those powerful winds that sweep across the Atlantic. It sounds like paradise, right? Well, on one of its most beautiful islands, SANTO ANTÁO, there's a legend that makes even the bravest locals stay inside once the sun goes down. They whisper about something called a lanterna perdida, the lost lantern. This isn't just some campfire story. For generations, fishermen and farmers have sworn they've seen it. Imagine this: you're looking up at the towering, jagged cliffs that plunge into the ocean. It's pitch black, no moon. And then you see it, a single, warm light, glowing high up on a ridge where no trail exists, where no person could possibly be. It drifts slowly, patiently, as if someone is up there, lost, searching for a way down. But who is carrying it? That's where the story splits. The most common version begins decades ago, with a local man named Giulio. He was a fisherman, known for his fearlessness, who would often take shortcuts over the cliffs to get home. One night, a brutal, unexpected storm rolled in from the Atlantic. The winds howled, the rain was blinding, and Giulio never made it back. A search party went out the next day, but all they ever found was his lantern, shattered at the base of a cliff. So the story goes that Giulio's spirit is still up there, holding his lantern, forever searching for the path he never found. It's a sad, tragic tale, but there's another, darker version. Some of the elders on the island will tell you the lantern doesn't belong to Giulio anymore. Something else found it. This brings us to just a few years ago in 2021. A young traveler, a woman named Marissa, came to Santo Antão by herself. She was an experienced adventurer, a thrill seeker. She especially loved night hiking, the absolute silence, the canopy of stars you only see far away from city lights, the cool, crisp air. She was an independent spirit and didn't scare easily. When she told the guesthouse owner her plan to hike the cliff trails after sunset, the locals practically begged her not to go. They told her about a lanterna perdida. "It's just a story," she said, laughing it off as a quaint local superstition. "Don't worry, I'll be fine." They warned her that some things are better left undisturbed, but she was determined. She packed her headlamp, some water, and set off into the growing darkness. For the first hour, the hike was exactly what she'd hoped for. The wind was gentle, the stars were breathtaking, and the only sound was the crunch of her boots on the gravel path. She felt completely at peace, alone with nature. Around 10 p.m., she stopped to take a drink of water and glanced up at the valley ridge high above her. That's when she saw it. A warm, flickering orange glow, high on the cliffs. It looked exactly like an old-fashioned lantern. Her first thought wasn't fear, but concern. Someone was up there. Maybe another hiker had gotten lost, or worse, injured. The light wasn't moving very fast, just drifting back and forth, stranded. Without a second thought, Marissa turned off the main trail and started climbing towards the light. The path she chose was steep and treacherous, not a real trail at all, just a goat path. She was scrambling over loose rocks and thorny bush, but she kept her eyes fixed on the glow. The higher she went, the stranger things got. The gentle Atlantic breeze she'd been enjoying completely died. The air became still, heavy, and unnaturally cold. The sounds of the night, the crickets, the distant waves all fell silent, and then she noticed the lantern. It had stopped moving. It was just hanging there in the darkness, as if it was waiting for her. A shiver went down her spine, but she pushed it aside. Adrenaline, she told herself. She was getting close. She pulled herself up onto a narrow ledge, her heart pounding in her chest. And there it was. The lantern was only a few meters away, just across a small chasm. It was beautiful, an antique thing made of brass and glass, casting a warm, inviting light. But her breath caught in her throat. There was no one holding it. It was just hovering in midair. It swayed gently, as if held by an invisible hand. And then, slowly, it began to turn, rotating until the glass pane faced her directly. It was as if it just noticed her. For a moment, everything was frozen. Marissa, the lantern, the dead silent night. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. And then it happened. The lantern rushed towards her. It didn't drift, it didn't float, it shot across the gap with impossible speed. It was so fast, she felt a wave of heat wash over her face as it closed the distance. Instinct took over. She screamed and stumbled backward, her foot slipping on the loose gravel of the ledge. She fell, tumbling and scrambling down the steep, rocky slope in pure, primal terror. She didn't look back. She just ran, sliding and falling, until she collapsed at the bottom, bruised and bleeding, back on the main trail. Marissa survived. She stumbled back to the village, hysterical, babbling about a flying lantern that had attacked her. The villagers knew. They took her in, cleaned her wounds, and calmed her down. The next morning, a few of the men, skeptical but concerned, went to check the cliff she described. And what they found was far more disturbing than Marissa's story. They found her footprints easily enough. A single set of boot prints leading up the treacherous goat path, just as she said. They followed them all the way to the narrow ledge where she had faced the lantern. But when they looked for the tracks leading back down, there was something wrong. The footprints coming down the mountain were there, but only half of them. Her frantic, slipping tracks were clear for a few meters, and then they just stopped. It was as if something else had followed her down, perfectly stepping in her tracks, erasing the evidence of its own descent. To this day, travelers and locals on Santo Antão still report seeing the strange light drifting along the cliffs at night. The guides now have a new, more urgent warning for anyone who ventures out after dark. If you see the light, admire it from a distance. But whatever you do not follow it. It's not a lost hiker, it's a lure. And it's not leading you anywhere safe. If this story made the hair on your arms stand up, or made you tense your shoulders just a little bit, then don't wander off now. Hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what country you're from so I can find your local legends, and make sure you subscribe. Because there are much darker stories out there waiting for us to find them. Thanks for watching.